So tonight's talk will be about Anarthas. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, Anartha means that which is undesirable for devotion. So as opposed to artha, artha means that which is desirable for us, but anartha means that which blocks our attempt at devotional service. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has given you can say, roadmap for our progressive devotional life. So that beginning with Ado Shraddha is the first line of the verse. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajana Kriya Tat. So this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It means that our spiritual development begins with the development of Shraddha. And Shraddha means faith. So prior to the development of our faith, even in a small way, is Sukriti. Sukriti is always the first thing that we need to come in connection with. There are two types of Sukriti, Agyata Sukriti and Gyata Sukriti. So the word Sukriti means spiritual merit, our spiritual merit. So it doesn't mean anything, it's nothing to do with good or bad karma, nothing to do with piety or impiety, nothing of the kind. It's a purely spiritual substance, Sukriti. And Agyata Sukriti means unknowingly you do something for which Krishna is happy. So an example. So let's say maybe you're have a very nice garden, and in your garden you grow some roses, and the rose bushes there in the front garden. And one day a devotee walks past your garden and sees your roses and thinks, oh, those look nice. Let me offer some of those to Krishna. Without your knowledge, he pinches a few roses from the garden and takes them to the temple and offers them to Krishna. Because you grew those roses, you get the benefit. And that's called Agyata Sukriti, even though you may know nothing about it at all. When you can say that these are like deposits in our spiritual bank account. So Sukriti is our first deposit. And Agyata Sukriti, someone's opened this account for us, we don't even know about it. And some wealth is going into that account. And when it reaches a certain level, then the account pays a dividend, and that dividend becomes Gyata Sukriti. So then Gyata Sukriti means that you consciously decide, oh, let me take some of my roses to offer to Krishna in the temple. So now you're actively participating in that. It may be, that's just an example. It may be anything or many things. It may just be you're driving your car and you see the Sankirtan party and you stop to let them cross the road. Gyata Sukriti, you did something knowingly. Oh, let me let the Hare Krishna people go across the road. So, you know, this gradually develops in our account. And when it pays its next dividend, that next dividend is called Shraddha. And Shraddha means faith. So faith is something more than just belief. You know, people say, oh, I believe in this, or I believe in that, but it's more than that. It's something deep-rooted within us, something that means that something that chimes with our heart, something which we can undeniably say, this is real, I think this is real. So this is called Shraddha. And when Shraddha reaches a certain level, we get the desire for Sadhu Sangha. As Guru Maharaj would often say, birds of a feather flock together. So, people who are interested in the same thing, they always like to associate with other people that are interested in those things. So maybe you're interested in model trains or something like that. Then you find out where the local model train group goes and meets together, and they talk about the latest engines and carriages and all of these things that people get excited about who are model train enthusiasts. They find that place and they go there. So similarly, devotees, they thinking, where can I go where I'll find other people who are interested in Krishna? And this is the desire for sadhu sangha. So then we begin our association with the devotees, and then you can say, then things really start to take an upturn with the association of the devotees. Sadhu sangha inevitably leads to bhajana kriya. So first is apandas. That means when you hear the opinions of the devotees, and you hear the teachings of our gurus and Lord Chaitanya, and then you ruminate on that, you think about that, and then you begin to practice that yourself. And ultimately, when you get the connection of a genuine sadhu through the Guru Parampara, that means initiation. At the time of initiation, then your spiritual life begins in earnest. So that's called bhajana kriya. Now you've been given a path in which you can develop Krishna consciousness in a substantial way. Bhajana kriya, the path of bhajan, the path of worship. So you've been given some instruction now. You have you've been given a name, a spiritual name to remind you of Krishna. You've been given some japamala and asked to chant on that every day, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and so many other things to serve Krishna. Srila Govinda Maharaj would often say at the time of initiation, it is my expectation that from today you will serve Lord Krishna every day. Now, this is what initiation means. The initiation means that when the disciple receives dibya gyan, or spiritual knowledge, heart, as Gurudev would say, heart-to-heart transmission, the spiritual imparting that spiritual wealth from the guru to the disciple. But initiation is, of course, what it says, that if you look up the definition of to initiate something in the dictionary, you'll find initiate means begin, to begin something. So what it means when you go through that ceremony, it means that you've been accepted. You've been accepted as a disciple, or you've been accepted as a student in this school. So that in itself isn't enough. It's not enough just to go through an initiation ceremony. That's something like you applied to study at Oxford University and they accepted you. Oh, it's very prestigious. You get a nice letter with the college logo of Oxford University, and you dear sir or madam, you've been accepted to study whatever your chosen subject is at Oxford University. So what you might be very proud of that and put it in a nice frame and put it on the wall. And when people come to see you, they, oh, you were accepted at Oxford. Yes. What did you study? No, I didn't go. That was enough for me, just that I was accepted. I didn't actually go or study there, So, and if you go for a job somewhere and you take that letter with you, well, they'll say, okay, so where's your degree? Where's your qualification that you gained at Oxford? No, I didn't. I just thought this was enough. The letter, that was enough. So it's something like that. Yes, now we've been accepted into the school of Veda Vyas, the school of Shukadev Goswami, the school of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the school of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. We're accepted as students in that school. But it's up to us to actually take advantage of that now, to study in that school, to practice what we've been taught in that school, or otherwise it's more or less meaningless, just a formality. So, and that, from that, bhajana kriya begins anartha nivritti. So anartha nivritti means the removal of the unwanted things from the heart of the disciple. The obstacles that prevent us from actually being able to serve Krishna in reality. That anartha nivritti. And after anartha nivritti, there are the higher stages of devotion, such as nishtha. Nishtha means like a firm faith. You're no longer any question of whether you believe or don't believe, or you're sure or you're not sure. Nishtha means you're firmly established. Nothing can move you from that position. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, nishtha, nothing. It's like that's also a preliminary stage. But if we analyze from the beginning of bhajana kriya to the stage of nishtha, passing through anartha nivritti, that is the greatest part of our journey. Srila Guru Maharaj said that is the actual process of spiritual life is all about anartha nivritti. You have to go through anartha nivritti. You can't skip that stage. So that means you have to very seriously try to practice Krishna consciousness and remove those anarthas, those unwanted things from your heart. And what are those unwanted things? Well, we can understand that very easily what they are. You know, they're everything that isn't favorable to Krishna consciousness. And that also may change as we progress. What's favorable for us today, as we progress in our spiritual life, may not be favorable for us tomorrow. So this is where you need the guidance of a guru, the guidance of the Vaishnavas, to be able to navigate this path of anartha nivritti. And it means you have to be serious about your spiritual life. You have to be serious about removing that anarthas, the unwanted things that are within our heart. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, bhukti mukti pisachya. That these two, he says, pisachya can mean ghost or witch or demon or something like that. These two demons, the two demons of bhukti and mukti, as long as they live in the heart of a devotee, then bhakti will not come to live there. So bhukti means the desire for sense enjoyment, and mukti means the desire for emancipation from the world, or renunciation of the world. These two witches, these two ghosts, as long as they occupy the heart of a devotee, bhakti won't come to live there. So those are the things that we have to remove. Actually, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has analyzed this a little more deeply, and he says that there are 4 kinds of anarthas that the devotees have to deal with. The first one is Swarup Brahma. Swarup Brahma means misconception about who you are. That's like the basic thing. Thinking that you're this body and that everything related to this body or this mind or all of the things that you, all the opinions that you hold, that all of these things put together are you. So this is the first misconception. And we can say, yes, we understand that, at least theoretically, but still when we look in the mirror, we think that that's us looking back at us. And similarly, all of the various opinions and which you know are actually acquired misconceptions that we have about the world and about ourselves, we identify with those things too. So this misconception about who we are, that's the first anartha that the devotees have to deal with. The real, you can say, real spiritual life begins when we realize that we are meant for him. Now we're thinking that the world is meant for us, and you know, to help us to enjoy life, to have a progressive life, to be happy, all of these things. We're thinking that that's what life is about. And we also think, oh, and Krishna consciousness will help me to that goal. When we come to Krishna consciousness, obviously everybody, almost without exception, we think like, if I follow this path, is it going to help me? Oh dear, what's that? Is that going to help me in my life? And when we're convinced that it will, we take up Krishna consciousness or the practice of Krishna consciousness. But we're still thinking about how that relates to us, how it will benefit us. So the turning point in our spiritual life is when we realize, no, it's not about us, it's about him. And it's always been about him. And him, by him, we mean Lord Krishna. So we are meant for him. Everything is meant for him. The whole creation is only for his satisfaction. And we, being part of his creation, that means we're also meant for his satisfaction. So the whole idea of spiritual life is to understand that, and that's where the adventure begins. In which way can I satisfy Krishna? As we're thinking, well, what can we do to satisfy Krishna? But believe me, we understand that in the whole of creation, there's nothing that doesn't have an eternal purpose and relation with Lord Krishna, and that includes you and I. We have some intrinsic part to play in satisfying Lord Krishna. However bizarre that may seem to us right now, that is the actual fact. So this is the first anartha that we have to overcome, the misconception about who we are. And the second anartha is called asat trishna. Asat trishna means the desire for things of this material world. And that can be, the desire for a nice new car or a nice house, or, a desire for just to be comfortable and for convenience. Those are the two main things that we look for in life: comfort and convenience. So but that's not what life's about. We're not meant for that. Srila Govinda Maharaj would often say that this life is not meant for us to enjoy. So we, all of these ambitions that we have in the material world, we have to understand that ultimately they are anarthas. They won't help us in our search for Lord Krishna. They won't help us in our spiritual quest. And so, step by step, we're not saying that everybody has to, come to this realization right now. It's a progressive thing, but we have to recognize that these things are anarthas. Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, our Guru Maharaj established so many temples just to help us, to leave the disease of homemaking. Said homemaking is a disease. And we're all doing that because it's a kind of insanity, because it's like going to a hotel when you're away from home and you have to stay in the hotel. But when you move in there, you start remodeling your hotel room, trying to make it like your home, your permanent home. Then pretty soon the management of the hotel will have something to say about that, won't they? So similarly, we're here in this material world. It's not our home by any means. But we're all trying to make like a permanent place where we can be comfortable, where we can enjoy, where we can have all of the things that home has to offer us. But it's not really our home. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj says this idea of home building is a disease, and we have to leave that by using our energy and our time to build homes for Krishna. That means Krishna's temple, Krishna's center, the sanghas where Krishna Katha is spoken, where Hari Kirtan is performed, where the devotees honor Mahaprasad, and so on. So this is the second anartha. asat trishna means the desire for things of this material world. And the third anartha is aparad, or offenses. So we know already 10 offenses to the holy name. There are also so many seva aparads and dharma aparad, and like there's so many offenses that we can make to Krishna in our attempt to serve him. But Srila Rupa Goswami has given a very encouraging answer to that. We may feel very discouraged. Oh, everything I do, I'm just going to be making offenses all the time to Krishna. But Rupa Goswami says in Upadeshamrita that the holy name of Krishna and Krishna are identical. The name and the named, they are one and the same. There is no difference between them. But he says, but if there is a difference between them, that difference is that the holy name of Krishna is even more merciful than Krishna himself. Because inevitably in our attempt to satisfy Krishna, to serve Krishna, we must make offenses. But simply by continuing to chant the holy name of Krishna with faith, even those offenses will be done away with by the power and the grace and the mercy of the Nam, the holy name of Krishna. So we have to understand what aparad means. And those 10 offenses, when we're given that at the time of initiation, it's not just because that's part of the ceremony or part of it, it's actually very substantial. You must learn, first of all, what are the 10 offenses to the holy name of Krishna, and then try your best to avoid those offenses. And the fourth anartha, that's called hridoy durbalya. Hridoy durbalya. Hridoy means heart, and durbalya means weakness. So it means the weakness of the heart. That we know what we need to do. We know what we should do to practice Krishna consciousness. Srila Govinda Maharaj said, when on his first world tour, he said, I'm thinking, what will I say to all these devotees when I come to meet with them? They're all already enlightened with Krishna consciousness because of the preaching of Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Then what will I say, like new to that? Everyone, they're all enlightened already with that. And that's true. We already know what is Krishna consciousness to some degree. However, more or less, we know that. We know what's required of us. We know, but weakness of heart means when we think, do you know what? I can't be bothered. I can't really be bothered for it, I know what I should do, but I just can't be bothered. And that's a really poor situation. And we find ourselves in that. We find ourselves, it seems, the more convenient life is for us, the more easy life is for us, the less we become concerned about our bhakti. So this is a well-proven scenario. So we hear Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, she's praying to Lord Krishna. Everybody wants a peaceful life, but when life is going well for us, when everything is going good, then we don't think about you, Lord. We don't think about you very much. So we understand that, right? If tomorrow you won the lottery or something, or inherited a huge amount of money, your first thought is not going to be how to utilize that in Krishna's service. Maybe it's somewhere in the list, but the first thought is, where am I going for my holiday? Who am I going to take with me? Am I going to buy that new car, that big house? These are the things that are going to come into our mind straight away. And if we think about Krishna at all, it'll be, thanks, Krishna, that's fantastic, but not really thinking about Krishna's service. Maybe somewhere down the line it's there. Oh yes, and I should give some money to the temple, shouldn't I? Yes, I should. But So Kunti Devi is saying, when everything's going swimmingly, when everything's super nice for us, our life, then we're not thinking about you. But when we're facing some disaster, some calamity in our life, then we have no option but to pray for your mercy, for your help, for your grace. And this way we help you. I mean, say, this way we think about you. This way we think about you. They used to say during World War One, when it was what they called, they had what was called trench warfare. The soldiers, they were in these horrible rat disease-ridden trenches, moving across the battlefield backwards and forwards. And they used to say, there are no atheists in the trenches, because all of the soldiers there, they're suffering so much, and they're praying, Lord, please get me out of this. If I can just survive this and get out of this alive. And back home, their mothers and their wives, they're all praying, please bring my boy home safely. So, then we know that in time of adversity, our tendency to know or to turn to Lord Krishna or to the Lord is much stronger. So then Kunti Devi prays, let the calamities come. I want that. I want calamity. I want the disturbance in my life more and more and more, so that I can remember your lotus feet. Just please grant me with that, my Lord. But, that's Kunti Devi. But we're thinking, no, Lord, please, I just want a peaceful life. I just want some, a little bit of satisfaction in the world. I don't have to work too hard. I don't have to suffer too much. I don't, and not just for me, for my family, for my, my loved ones and so on. This is more or less what we want. And we may or may not get that. But really, if we want Krishna, we have to face whatever is coming to us. And we have to face whatever's coming to us with a spiritual vision. That's very important, because and easy to say, but not so easy when those things are actually happening to you, when you're in the midst of that. It's very difficult to see that this is the will of the Lord. But we have to be a little bit introspective and understand that everything is the will of the Lord, and that Krishna is so kind that he doesn't have even one iota of malice in his nature. He'll never do anything to harm us. He has no sadistic tendency. He doesn't take any pleasure in seeing the jivas suffering. So when suffering comes to us, we have to try to take that as a lesson. So this is why Srila Sridhar Maharaj always quoting this verse, Taktein Kampam Fusha Mikshamanu, that whatever comes in front of me, we should understand my karma has come to face me. That it's not for anybody to blame anybody else. Normally, we're always looking to blame something or someone in the environment when things go wrong for us. But actually, we should know that whatever happens to us is the result of what we've done, that we're responsible for that in every single circumstance. We're never victims of a chaotic environment. We're always trying to be taught the lessons of life by our benevolent Lord. Krishna says, yes, I am the master and controller and the origin of everything, but I'm also your friend. I'm friendly to you. So when we can see that, when we can still carry on with our spiritual endeavor for the sake of Krishna, while enduring our karma has come to face us. So we have to deal with that. We deal with that. We're all, Srila Gurudev used to say many times, we are all suffering our karma fall. That means the fruits of our karma. We planted the seed somewhere, and now it's come to fruition, and we have to deal with that. And if we can deal with that and still see the smiling face of Krishna behind that and learn what it is that he wants to teach us from that, then the veil of Maya will lift from the devotee, and he or she, they'll be able to see the reality. And the reality is the smiling face of Krishna. So this weakness of heart is a very, the most common anartha that we have to face. Weakness of heart, meaning I can't be bothered. I know what to do, but I can't be bothered. And also Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when we take on all kinds of what's called markata vairagya, like we do things which seem like they're renunciation, but markata means a monkey. So markata vairagya means the renunciation of a monkey. So the monkeys, when you go to Vrindavan, you see the monkeys sitting on the, on the buildings around there. They're just sitting there, naked, and they're looking very renounced. But at any moment, they're going to try and steal something from you, your spectacles or, your bag or whatever it is. And then they'll try and sell it back to you for some bananas, or now they like this mango fruity drink. That's their favorite. They want you have to buy them a mango fruity drink if you want to get your things back, and even then you might not get them back. But so this markata vairagya, it means monkey renunciation. It means just to make a show of being renounced, but really underneath that you're just waiting for an opportunity to do something naughty thing, like a monkey. So, that's Srila Prabhupada used to say, too much devotion is the sign of a thief. So, then that means we have to be real in our approach, not too much, trying to do to make some kind of position for ourselves through showing renunciation, when it's actually only for that, for show and for prestige. And at the same time, the other side of that is not being bothered, not having any enthusiasm to practice Krishna consciousness, to do what we know is required of us. So, and how to get over that? The best way, and of all of those things, is association. Associate with those who understand who they are, those who have a proper conception of their self, a real conception of their self. That same conception will come to you, a proper conception of you, and associate with those that aren't desirous of material things. They're exhausted with that. They're just not interested in that. And if you associate with devotees like that, you will also become like that. And of course, offenses, then try to associate with offenseless Vaishnavas, those who, and we know that there are Vaishnavas, they won't say anything bad about anybody. Even if you try to get them to say something bad about somebody, they won't. They're not interested in that. So if you associate with those who are offenseless, you will also become offenseless. And finally, those who are free from this weakness of heart, who have strong faith and strong practice and a strong foundation in Krishna consciousness, if you associate with them, then their strength will also become your strength. And this way we can overcome these anarthas. And really that's our substantial job. That's our sadhana. Our sadhana isn't just how many rounds we chant, or how many obeisances we make, or how we worship the deity, or how we offer our food, all of these things. The real sadhana is how much are we becoming free of the anarthas, the obstacles that are within us, that are preventing us from serving Krishna and his associates in reality. So, okay, so that's more or less what I wanted to speak about this evening. And if anyone else would like to say something in relation to that, or has a question in relation to that, now's the time. Anybody?
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Yes.
very, very much for today. I learned a lot, actually. I got answer to some of my very, very long time question. May I humbly ask, let us say, I'm not saying that there are some who do it. It's just a question. I just want to have a clear mind. Let us say I do my chanting, do my service, do everything that it says in the Shastra, in the books, and so on, and associate with others, and so on. But in the same time, I behave not so good or even very bad towards someone else within the movement.
Okay.
Is that mean that just because I am doing all these things, it makes me make me free from getting bad from the what I behave, how I behave?
Okay, yeah, a very good question. So who's asking the question, please?
Scarlett. My name is Scarlett.
Yes,
Yes,
Scarlett.
I'm so sorry. I can't have camera on my computer. It's not good. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
Not at all, not at all. Thank you for your question, Scarlett. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's a very good question. Yeah. So we're not really interested in just going through the motions. There has to be some real change of heart within us. There has to be some something that we can understand, the anarthas, the things that are wrong with me are gradually going away. And that means, maybe if I behave badly to others, if I am abusive to others, or whatever it may be, then that means that we're doing something wrong. And we should try to understand what it is that we're doing wrong. So this is part of anartha nivritti. The first thing is to nail down or to identify what is it that makes me behave in this way, and then try to deal with that. Anartha nivritti is something like the process of making ghee. Have you ever made ghee?
Yes.
Anyway,
yes, I have done.
So you
butter.
make from butter, and you very gently heat it for a long time, and the solids, they rise to the top, and then when they reach the surface, you skim those away. And this process can go on for a long time, until all you've got left is the pure oil, the ghee. So anartha nivritti is something like that. When we practice our sadhana, then that's like the boiling or the heating process of the butter. And as we practice that, all of our anarthas, like the solids in the ghee, they rise to the surface. And they come to the surface, and then we should try to deal with them when they arise. As those things arise at the surface, you can stir them and they'll go back down again, but only for a while, because the process means they must come up again to the surface, and then you have to deal with them. So this is all part of that anartha nivritti. So just like My mother is suffered since her childhood with psoriasis, which is a skin complaint that you may have heard of. But so she started a course of homeopathic medicine, and in homeopathy there's a thing they call the law of cure, and the law of cure means that it must get worse before it gets better. The as opposed to conventional medicine, which more or less like pushes down the symptom of your disease, or covers the symptom of your disease, goes back down within you. Homeopathy means that it brings the symptom to the surface. And when this happened to my mother, she was like completely freaking out. Oh, it's getting worse. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. And myself and her homeopath had to say, yes, this means it's working, because the symptoms are coming to the surface now. They're not being pushed in deeper within you. They're coming to the surface. So they must do that for you to be able to, for the cure to work. The disease must get worse before it gets better. So similarly, in Anartha Nivritti, all of the things that we've hidden away with inside us, all of those bad things that we don't want to face up to, they come to the surface. And now we think sometimes, I've heard from many devotees, I'm worse than I was before I became a devotee. I never behaved like that before. And now I find these things coming in my mind, in my consciousness, like, what's happening? It's that very thing. It's the law of cure. That it means that your sadhana is being effective, because the symptoms of your disease, if you like, your material disease, now they're coming to the surface. But that doesn't mean that's an excuse, or that we should just vent that, but rather we have to identify it, identify what is the cause of it, and try to do away with that. That's Anartha Nivritti. And Anartha Nivritti, of course, Krishna himself says in the Gita, if my devotee does something abominable, you should still try to see him as a real devotee, because although externally he may be doing something bad, he's rightly situated. So very soon all of that will disappear. It's just the remnants, if you like, of his previous nature. So in the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was very friendly with the editor of a very famous Bengali newspaper, which was called, I think, no, I forget the name now. But anyway, he was the editor, and Saraswati Thakur invited him, come and stay in our ashram for some time, and then tell me what you think. Amrita Bazar Patrika is the name of the newspaper. It's still going today. Amrita Bazar Patrika. It's a Bengali newspaper, and so this gentleman who was the editor, he came and stayed for maybe 1-2 weeks in the ashram, and after that time, then Saraswati Thakur asked him, so what's your opinion? What do you think? And he said, well, if you want me to be honest, I think all these men that are living in your ashram, they're all hypocrites. They all say one thing and they do another thing. You should send them back home. And Saraswati Thakur, his reply to that was, then should we go to the hospital and throw out the patients because they're ill? So the temple is like a spiritual hospital, or the place of the devotees, the association of the devotees is like a hospital, and the people in there are ill. We're all ill. We're all diseased with, all kinds of material problems. But we're in the right place, just as those who are sick from various conditions, they go to the hospital so they can get treatment from the doctors and get the right medicine and the right diet and so on. So similarly, in our spiritual diseases, if you like, and they may be various for everybody, we come to the temple like that's our hospital, and our guru and the Vaishnavas, they're the doctors there. They're the proper, giving us the proper treatment, and they give us the prescription. Follow this diet, follow this sadhana, your chanting, this is the medicine for your disease. And because everyone's at various levels of their own spiritual realization, some may be showing symptoms worse than others, and some may be even more or less cured. Sometimes they may also become doctors themselves, but it doesn't mean that that we should penalize or get rid of the devotees because they have some remnants of their material disease. And again, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he used to say, if the cow is giving nice milk, don't worry that sometimes it might kick you. If it's giving nice milk. So in other words, if their devotees are doing good service, you should try to overlook their bad qualities that may rise up from time to time. Just the dying remnants. We can't criticize somebody for being dirty if they're on their way to take a shower, isn't it? They're going to try to get clean, and they will very quickly become clean. So we can't say, oh, that person's a very filthy person. They're on their way to the shower. Don't worry, in half an hour they'll be fresh and fragrant again. So similarly, we're all diseased in this material world. So we just have to go and take our medicine, and we hope that we're not so badly diseased that the other inmates, the other patients, won't be able to tolerate us. So Srila Govinda Maharaj, he told he used to have what we called the veranda crew. They were his personal servitors that were looking after him. One was a nurse, one was a herbal doctor, one was, used to take care of his correspondence and everything. And, it was a little crew of devotees there. And they didn't always get on with each other. So then one day, this one girl, from that crew, she came to Gurudev and said, oh, that person, another person in the crew, she said, that person, I just cannot tolerate them. They're always doing this, they're always doing this, they're always doing something. Then Srila Govinda Maharaj said, no, you must try to tolerate, because they are also trying for devotion. So just try and tolerate them. Be tolerant with them. Then after a few weeks, that girl came back again to Gurudev and said, Maharaj, I tried and I tried and I've tried, but I just cannot tolerate that person. I can't tolerate them at all. And why, I really have tried. And Srila Govinda Maharaj said, yes, you have tried, but you have not tried with affection. You must try to tolerate that person with affection. So, there's a proper way to do everything in devotion. And that's why we need the sadhu, we need the guru, we need the Vaishnavas to help us to understand what is the proper way to deal with every situation. And in brief, that is with humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. And at the same time, not expecting any honor or respect for ourselves. This is the magic potion for success in devotional life. So I hope that answered your question, Scarlett.
May I have a follow-up question?
You may, yeah.
I ask, is it, how long could it take for a person to you say hospital, okay, when you're sick, you go to hospital and you get medicine and you got help from the doctor, but sometimes you will be good. Then you have to go home and practice to live healthy, and not to do anything bad to damage your health again, right? So
Yeah.
it should be the same apply to when someone comes to the spiritual consciousness, to movement, or to some kind of spiritual practice, that yes, for a while this person has many anartha, many this, many that, and behave not so good and so on. But does it mean that it has to go on in 10, 15, 20 years?
And that will depend on the person themselves, on what's the state of their disease. Someone coming to Christian consciousness, maybe in their last life they were very close for perfection, and that just a little bit of time will take for them to. So we see some people come to the temple, their first time, within a few weeks they're shooting ahead, advancing so quickly. Then we have to conclude that they're taking up from where they left off in their last life. And then others, they come to the temple and they try and they try and they try and they can't make, it seems, any progress. So, it really depends on the individual. But from our point of view, we have to decide that we're in this for the long run, however long it may take. Maybe it'll take 10 years, maybe it'll take 20 years, maybe it'll take 20 lifetimes. Don't know. So who knows? But all we know is we've got nothing else really of anything more important to do in our lives than to try for our spiritual fortune. And maybe you can progress very quickly, and your neighbor may not go so quickly. And the opposite may be true. Your neighbor may become very advanced very quickly, and you may be dragging behind. You may be the person that introduced them to Krishna consciousness even, and within a very short time you see they're charging ahead of you in their progress in spiritual life, and you're still lagging behind, and what happened? But we shouldn't be unhappy about that. We should be more happy for that. And we should be more happy to see when the devotees progress nicely in spiritual life and even surpass us in their devotional qualifications. Wonderful, because that helps us to see the reality of devotion. Because a peculiar thing about bhakti is that you can't trace it in yourself, you can only see it in others. Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, if you think that you've got it, that means you're very far away from it. So, but we can see it in others. We can see it in our God brothers and our God sisters, how much they're advancing in spiritual life. And that's a wonderful thing. And that helps us to understand the reality of devotional service and devotional practice. So there's no real answer to that question about how long it'll take. It just depends on the individual.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. So there we are. We're almost at our time to finish now. So does anyone else want to say something or ask a question before we finish up?
Yeah, Prabhu, there is a question from Priya Bhakta Prabhu in the chat. So he asks, Dear Prabhu, in the process of Anartha Nivriti, when I see an Anartha impulse or desire appear, and I say to myself, I will not serve you, is this helping or part of that purification process, or do they just disappear from attentive sadhana?
Okay, that's from Priya Bhakta Prabhu, yes?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, another good question. Fantastic. It's good. Again, there's no one answer to that. But having the proper attitude that I understand this is an anartha within me, some unwanted thing within me. I'm not going to submit to that. But maybe we don't have the strength to be able to overcome that on ourselves. So then we have to take shelter of the devotees. those who are more experienced than us, those that don't think that what you're going through, no one else has ever gone through before. Everybody's gone through the same thing, but maybe in slightly different ways. Like, it's all variations on the theme. We're all going through the same things, and you'll find that other devotees will have been able to overcome that particular anartha that you may have, or even if they haven't, they may be able to offer support and good advice. Just like, you know, when people are alcoholics, they go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and they the first thing is they accept, I've got a problem, I'm an alcoholic, and that's what they do, right? They stand up, hi, my name's Joe, I'm an alcoholic, and then it's, hi, Joe, and then they tell their story, and, you know, then they support each other in trying to get clean from that. And after you've been there a while, you have a sponsor. So when those things come to you, you know, these desires or, you know, unhealthy things that come, and you know that's going to subvert your devotional life, you're going to be in trouble if you indulge that, then you call your sponsor. The devotees are your sponsors. Call them up, say, look, I'm really, you know, in the case of the alcoholic, I really want to go and have a beer. What am I going to do about this? Don't worry, I'm coming over. We'll do something together. You know, you don't have to do that. Just hang on, I'll be there. In the same way, we can call out to the Vaishnavas to help us, and they'll help us. And even when we're not able to practice our sadhana properly, they'll come, they'll help us to be able to again take up our sadhana healthy way, and encouraging each other. This is again, Krishna says in the Gita, you know, my devotees, they inspire each other by talking about me. They get great joy from that. This is how they find their satisfaction, mutually enlightening one another with their realizations about me. Now, this is the process of Krishna consciousness. No man is an island. We're all in it together. And the more association that we have, good association that we have, the easier our journey will be. So really, that's what we should be endeavoring for. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he, in a letter to me, he said, always remember that independence is the demon that takes us away from Krishna's service. So in this world, we're always thinking that if I can be independent, then that'll be very good, but not independent of the Vaishnavas. We should always be dependent on the Vaishnavas, interdependent on the Vaishnavas. They're our saviors. They're our real friends in this world. And if we take shelter of them, they'll help us. And in helping us, they're helping themselves, and we help each other. It's a symbiosis between devotees. So I think we've kind of come to the end of our time now. In case anyone has anything last thing they want to say, but otherwise, I think we need to kind of finish it up for today. I don't know. I think, as far as I know, Madhusoodan Maharaj is still in Thailand. So, you know, then I'm not sure how long it'll be before he returns. So in Thailand, it's like about 1:30 in the morning now. So so that's why he can't join us at the moment. But he did ask me to sort of step in while he's away, and I'm trying to do that. And I hope you're not too disappointed that he's not with us. But our feelings of separation will draw him back to us, I'm sure, very soon. So thanks all very much, and I hope we'll meet again next Monday. And please accept my humble obeisances to all of you, one by one. And hope you have a very happy and savorful week ahead until we meet next time. Jam Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai, Rupanuga Guru Bhagya Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda Ki Jai, Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Sripad Devashis Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Thank you.